ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, September 18th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We've got your text line opening up right now. That's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is the week. Marshall taking on Virginia Tech. Sold out game. I've got your tickets. I'm going to give you an opportunity to win a pair today. So write that number down now if you're somewhere where you can write it down. Or try to remember it. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll open up the text line in just a minute for you and give you the rules today if you want to try to win 2 tickets to go see Marshall take on Virginia Tech. As I mentioned, sold-out game, so not too many ways for you to get into the game on Saturday. If you don't already have tickets, I've got you covered with your pair today. We'll get into the Marshall game coming up in just a few moments. Tough loss yesterday for my Cincinnati Bengals. Tough loss there because the Bengals were favored to win the division, now 0-2 in the division. More importantly, just 0-2. And so the Bengals fall short with the comeback. Unfortunately, something else happened. Joe Burrow aggravated his calf injury against the Ravens. So it's a comeback falling short. Offense was a lot better than it was in week 1 against the Browns. I'll say that right off. And it took a while, though. T. Higgins was exceptional. But the Bengals fall 27-24. And then earlier today, Zach Taylor, Bengals head coach, updated everyone on Joe's status. He was asked about if he could miss some time or if there's a potential to maybe put him on the shelf a couple weeks, make sure that he gets everything that he needs to be ready to go again. Not really showing his cards, but Zach Taylor did make it sound like his quarterback could miss some time.
I think, first of all, we got to hear what the doctors have to say before we start to assume anything. So once we get that information, we have this, figure out what we're going to do.
So we're going to wait for the doctors, and we'll find out. Of course, the Bengals won't play until Monday night. We've got that game for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've got some times now. First of all, Marshall's homecoming game against Old Dominion. That's going to be on September 30th. That's going to be on ESPN+. Kickoff is set for 3:30 p.m. That means we go on the air with our pregame coverage beginning at 12:30 that day, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So soccer successful over the weekend on the men's side. Marshall goes on the road, gets the victory over 9th-ranked JMU 3-1. And so we'll wait for the rankings to come out tomorrow. There are rankings coming out today, though. The latest college soccer national rankings from Top Drawer Soccer showing the Herd ranked number 1, WVU number 2. So Marshall could be the new number 1 team when the rankings come out tomorrow. And, of course, that's important because, obviously, Thundering Herd would like to remain undefeated. But number 1, that means if there wasn't a target on your back now, which there is, it's going to get a lot bigger. So Marshall could potentially be the number 1 team in the country tomorrow. But according to the rankings coming out from Top Drawer Soccer, Marshall, number 1, West Virginia, number 2. How crazy is this? How crazy is this? You've got the 2 best soccer schools in the country, potentially in the state of West Virginia, if these rankings hold 1 and 2. The Mountaineers played to a draw with Central Florida, also one of the top teams in the country. I think the Herd's probably a shoe-in at number 1. Unfortunately for the women, home opener, they fell 3-1. Got a red card. That was sort of the kiss of death there. When you play down a player, you normally can't come back from that. Sometimes you can. So rough start in the Sun Belt opener for the women, but good job for the men getting the win against JMU on the road, 3-1, number 9 JMU. So the Thundering Herd continues to excel on the pitch. Staying in the Sun Belt for just a minute, we're going to hear from Coach Huff, by the way, in just a few minutes. I want to give you an opportunity to hear from him. Coming out of the Sun Belt, you'll love this. South Alabama is the Cheez-It National Team of the Week. And on top of that, the game against JMU on September 30th is going to air on ESPNU at 12 p.m. Additionally, Coastal Carolina at Georgia Southern. That game got elevated. That's going to be broadcast on the NFL Network. That is going to be a 7 o'clock game. Marshall's game, of course, will be on ESPN+, but that might change for future games. If Marshall can get the win against Virginia Tech, and then potentially you could see a few more games change. Marshall going into that NC State game 4-0, if Marshall can get past Virginia Tech and Old Dominion. Could you imagine that? That would be pretty good. And I think a lot of people are going to circle the Marshall-JMU matchup. That's the one. If Marshall can continue to start a win streak that goes 8, 9, 10 games. We're at 7 right now, 7 consecutive wins. If Marshall can continue and start building up those win streaks like the Herd used to do, we might have a really fun finish here in the second half of this season. So that's what's happening in the Sun Belt. I thought it was fun. The Cheez-It National Team of the Week. You know, Marshall was on this thing last year. Football Writers put this out. So a lot of good things happening with the Sun Belt. And that was one of the things that Coach was asked about as far as winning against an Autonomy 5 program. We'll hear that a little bit later on. We'll get your text in. We're going to do that here in just a moment. I'm going to give you the number again, and then I'll tell you what you need to do to make sure that you are entered to win the tickets. The text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. All right. We like to keep it interactive here. So today, pair of tickets to go see Marshall take on Virginia Tech. This is going to be random draw, but you got to do something for me. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to need your response. It's Marshall, Virginia Tech week, obviously. So today, I'm asking you to predict the score. What's the score going to be Saturday after it's done? Is it going to be Marshall 27, Virginia Tech 13? You could use that number, but I want to hear from you. So what's the score going to be this week? Marshall taking on Virginia Tech. You predict the score. That'll give you an entry into our drawing tonight after the show to win 2 tickets to go see Marshall take on Virginia Tech. Sold-out game Saturday, Jones C. Edwards Stadium. Not too many ways to get into this game unless you have a ticket. So if you want one of the easy ways to get in, and that's by getting a pair of my tickets, text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. What's the score going to be on Saturday between Marshall and Virginia Tech? You predict the score, and we'll start getting your text in. We'll hear from Coach Huff when we continue, and, of course, we'll start going down some of your game predictions for the score. We'll do that when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, Tri-State. Frank's Place, formerly Sinners and Saints Bar, is under new ownership. Stop on by and check out Happy Hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and other daily specials. If you're a sports fan, they have what you need coming up from the NCAA tournament, Major League Baseball to the XFL. And listen up. If you're a first responder, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. In Huntington, Ray Crabtree, 304-736-8181. In Lavalette, Jason Elkins, 304-529-7555. And in Charleston, Lisa Godwin, 304-984-0000.
Check out Working Man's Store in Huntington, the biggest inventory of scrubs in West Virginia, featuring brands such as Medcator, Infinity, Dickies, and Cherokee at the best price. Working Man's Store has one of the largest selections of big and tall shirts, jackets, and jeans in the area. Working Man's Store is the king of blue jeans with Levi's, Dickies, Carhartt, Lee, and Wranglers in sizes up to 72. And Working Man's Store has the best selection of men's work boots and casual shoes anywhere at the best price. Working Man's Store, open every day at 145th Avenue or online at workingmanstore.com.
Get ready, Ashland. Ashland Tomcat football season is here, and the Tomcats have a new radio home. Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. Download the app today or listen online at catsports933.com. The legendary Dickie Martin will bring you all of the exciting play-by-play action. After a great start to the season, the Tomcats are back at home this Friday, matching up against Greenup County. Tomcats football on Cat Sports is sponsored by Kentucky Farmers Bank, McDonald's, McLeod's Body Shop, Giovanni's of Ashland, and Putnam Restoration. Ashland Tomcat football from Kindred Communications.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve part-time in your community while continuing their full-time careers or education to help keep our nation safe at home and around the globe. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Monday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is open. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're giving you a chance today to win a pair of tickets to go see Marshall take on Virginia Tech Saturday, Jones C. Edwards Stadium. Game's a sellout. Would you like to go? Well, I've got your tickets. Text line is now open. Here's what you need to do to be entered to win. I'm looking for a prediction of the score. What's the game score going to be? Texter writes in, says, Herd 22, Virginia Tech 17. The Herd home crowd is going to fire up the defense. So There's one prediction. You can add yours as well. Again, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Well, last week was an off week for the Thundering Herd. Marshall getting set now for Virginia Tech, or at least media availabilities have begun again. Coach Huff out last week recruiting and, of course, getting a jump start on game preparation for Virginia Tech. And that's where we start with Coach Huff's opening statement from earlier today during his Sun Belt media availability.
Obviously happy to be back, coming off a bye week where we got a lot of recruiting done. Did a good job of getting a little bit of advanced scout on the opponent. So ready to get back on the field. Finished up 2 weeks ago with a tough victory down at ECU. A lot of things to get cleaned up over the bye week and this week to get ready for a really good Virginia Tech team. This will be the toughest game. This will be the toughest game that we've played all year. Really good opponent. They are probably a handful of plays away from drastically changing their overall record. And when you watch the games, you can see this is a really good football team. Coached really well. They'll be coming in here ready to play. They play really hard. Defensively, they make it really tough for you to move the football. And then offensively, they've got some schemes and some players that can create some explosive plays and change the game. So great opportunity for us to prepare this week really well, play really hard, and we have to execute.
Coach Huff's opening statement, Marshall getting set for Virginia Tech. Now, these Monday pressers are a little different from the Tuesday pressers, so you're going to get some questions that normally might not get asked. First of all, question was asked about what it would take for Marshall to win over an Autonomy 5 program. And to qualify this, every week there's been a Sun Belt team to beat an Autonomy 5 program. And so the streak's at 3. Could Marshall add to it and have another win for the Sun Belt over the, air quotes here, Power 5 programs? Coach Huff talked about that.
I can't speak for the other teams and what they did well. Hopefully they can send me some of their plays. But for the Herd, we're going to have to prepare really well this week, and we're going to have to master the game plan and understand the whys. And then we're going to have to play really hard because they're going to play hard. And we've got to find a way to play harder than them, longer than them, with the right focus and discipline. And then ultimately, I say it all the time, you got to execute consistently. Dudes got to be dudes, man. You got to make the plays when they're there to be made. You got to not put yourself in unadvantageous positions with disciplined penalties, turnovers, missed tackles, interceptions, fumbles, those type of things. And ultimately, if you can do that, I think we'll be in a really good spot at the end of the game to try and close it out. I think, again, it's going to be a 60-minute battle because I don't anticipate, Virginia Tech folding, because they are close game or because something doesn't go right on the first drive. So we have to prepare really well this week, play extremely hard, and then consistently execute on Saturday.
Standard stuff. He's not giving the game plan away, but he does want his team to know the game plan, to put out a full effort, and he thinks it's going to be tough. Texters may not agree with him. From the text line, Marshall 21, Virginia Tech 13. So far, everyone thinks that Marshall's going to win this game on Saturday. Coach Huff, I'm sure, would like to have that kind of optimism. One thing that he does have right now is a really good offensive line. Not too many teams can boast yet to give up a sack. Marshall's one of those teams that can actually say, this offensive line has yet to give up a sack. And Coach talked a little bit about that statistic and the depth that this offensive line is enjoying building. There's a lot of players that are being rotated in. Coach explained a little bit more. They're not quite there yet, but they look pretty good.
Right now, we've got a lot of prospects. I wouldn't say depth, and I don't say that in a negative, but we've got a lot of guys who've got a lot of ability. The consistency is what we're looking for right now. We're moving some guys around, giving some guys some opportunities because they've shown flashes of being able to consistently execute. And then there's flashes where, they're a little bit off the reservation. So trying to get as much exposure to as many guys as we need to. Obviously, the way our schedule is set up, we're going to need multiple guys to be able to play and play at a really high level. Obviously, last week we got an opportunity to play a few more guys, which I think is going to help those guys improve. But overall, I think, not giving up any sacks is a compliment, obviously, to the entire group. Coach Legg's doing a really good job. I think it's collective. I think the quarterback's getting the ball out of his hands. I think we're putting ourselves in some advantageous pass situations, which allows us, to be protected. Again, keeping the quarterback upright is huge, but also being able to distribute the ball on time in the right windows, builds that confidence with the O-line, allows them to play a little faster. And we got to continue to do that in order to be successful.
That's a good stat to have. No one's gotten to Cam Fancher just yet. And hopefully that continues. No one's gotten to the quarterback. And if no one gets to the quarterback, you give him enough time, he should be able to find a way to get the ball to an open receiver, or, of course, if you set up the run. So that's a pretty good stat to have. Text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're getting your score prediction today. Marshall and Virginia Tech sold out on Saturday. Who's going to win the game? What's the score going to be? And, of course, if you text in, you will be registered to win 2 of my tickets. I've got a pair of tickets I'm giving away today for a lucky fan to go see Marshall take on Virginia Tech. It's a sold-out game. If you want to go and you don't have your ticket just yet and you haven't figured out how you're going to get your ticket, well, today might be your lucky day. And again, we're looking for the prediction of the game score, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So when we continue, as I mentioned, Mondays with the media availability, not necessarily you're going to get some of the real X's and O's. And, of course, coaches are really going to play their cards close to the vest. They're not going to give you all the details. But a couple of things that came up today during coaches' media availability, him talking about recruiting, that came up. Of course, there were other members of the media on from the Virginia Tech side. So a question came up about his relationship with Virginia Tech's coach, Brent Pry. We'll get into all of that, and we'll make time for your text as well. And again, that's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. What's the score going to be between Marshall and Virginia Tech? We're looking for your score prediction. And we'll have more from Coach Huff when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Check out Working Man's Store in Huntington, the biggest inventory of scrubs in West Virginia, featuring brands such as Medcator, Infinity, Dickies, and Cherokee at the best price. Working Man's Store has one of the largest selections of big and tall shirts, jackets, and jeans in the area. Working Man's Store is the king of blue jeans with Levi's, Dickies, Carhartt, Lee, and Wranglers in sizes up to 72. And Working Man's Store has the best selection of men's work boots and casual shoes anywhere at the best price. Working Man's Store, open every day at 145th Avenue or online at workingmanstore.com.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com. You've been on the go all summer, but now things are winding down and your summer adventures are coming to an end. We say don't let them, with a $60 rebate on the Uniroyal Laredo family of tires and a $40 tire rebate on all other tire lines. Now is the time to snag a new set before September 28th and start planning your next adventure. Uniroyal all-season adventure starts here. Get details at uniroyaltires.com/promotions. Offer expires 9/28/2023. Void where prohibited. Copyright 2023. M&A Incorporated. All rights reserved. Call TikTok Tire today to take advantage of the savings. TikTok Tire, 2102 3rd Avenue, Huntington.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, and baked lasagna. Giovanni's has the best sandwiches around, from the stromboli, Italian sub, calzones, and their signature Big Red. All dinners will be served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's Pizza, fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's. the Italian place to be.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Roosters at Pullman Square in Huntington with more than 40 TVs, great wings, and daily specials. Eric's Propane with 8 locations in Ohio and Kentucky to better serve you. EricPropane.com. Smokin' Jay's Rib and Brew House, U.S. Route 60 at Camp Landing in Ashland.
Psst. Yeah, it's me, your heart. Listen to me. We've got to talk. High blood pressure is serious, and yours? Whoa. What happened to us? We used to be so much more active. But lately, you've been ignoring me. I know you think I'm just gonna keep ticking away forever, but you're wrong. You can do so much more to control your high blood pressure. Doing the minimum isn't doing enough. I'm under a lot of pressure and can quit whenever I want. Bet you didn't know that. But I like my job. Just treat me better. Check on me. Give me something green to nibble on every once in a while. And maybe we can do some exercise on occasion. Let's get to it. After all, we're in this together.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
160,000 kids stay home from school every day for the same reason: bullying. This is Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association. Bullying impacts nearly 1/3 of all students every year, but parents, educators, and concerned adults can make a difference. It takes just one caring adult to intervene and help stop the bullying. Victims need an adult that will listen, will stand up for them, and most importantly, show them that they are not alone. Bullying and cyberbullying have far-reaching effects, from a decline in academic performance to physical illness, depression, or worse. Help us create a safe, bully-free learning environment for all students in West Virginia. One caring adult can make all the difference. Take the pledge to be that adult at NEA.org/bullyfree.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Monday edition. Paul Swann, your host for today's edition of The Drive. Our text line is open this hour where we're asking you to predict the score. Marshall taking on Virginia Tech. It's sold out on Saturday. We're also giving you an opportunity to win tickets. We're going to take a texter at the end of the show, a random draw, and we're going to give you 2 tickets to go see the Herd in a sold-out matchup against Virginia Tech. And all you have to do is text in your prediction, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's go back to the text line. Texter writes in and says, Virginia Tech 26, Marshall 20. Kick game hurts. Kick game hurts. Texter writes in and says, 28-14 Marshall, go Herd. Rasheen Ali with 3 touchdowns, and Fancher tosses 1. Okay. 3 on the ground, 1 in the air, spelling it out. Back to the text line, 304-396-TALK. Marshall 34, Virginia Tech 25. So far, only one person has picked Virginia Tech to beat the Thundering Herd. What do you think? What's your prediction for the game? Again, it's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's hear a little bit more from Coach Huff as game week is upon us. Coach Huff back on the media circuit with the Sunbelt Coaches Call earlier today. And one question that Coach was asked, there's always a connection. You can always find a connection somewhere. And there's a connection with Coach Huff. He has a relationship with Virginia Tech coach Brent Pry. They have history together, Vanderbilt, Penn State. So Coach was asked about what his relationship is with Brent Pry. Also, he was asked in that same question, what does he expect from Virginia Tech? On Saturday, Coach Huff addressed that relationship first Virginia Tech second.
Yeah, well, one, a lot of respect for Coach Pry. He and his family, his wife Amy and his kids, probably one of the closer friends that I've had in the profession. He's always the same guy. He's got a smile on his face. I think he does a phenomenal job of getting his team ready to play. Our time together, we always had a good relationship because I was on the other side of the ball, so we were able to kind of, rib each other a little bit about moving the ball or them stopping us. I'm sure he'll be listening to the Allman Brothers on the way to the game. Definitely a lot of respect for him. Probably one of the better defensive minds that I've been around in my career. They're going to be ready to play. They play hard. You watch the game, like not on TV or what ESPN puts out, but if you watch the game, you can't tell if those guys are winning or losing by how hard they play. And I think that's a testament to the head coach. I think that's a testament to the culture and a testament to the players. But I expect Coach Pry and his group to come in here like they're 3-0, 4-0, on the way to the national championship. Because that's the type of guy he is. He's not a, whoa, it's me, or, hey, we haven't, had the success we wanted, so now all of a sudden we're going to, be dog-faced or down. He's going to go in with bright smile, energy. He's going to have them fired up. They're going to be coached well. They're going to be in position. And I expect them to play at the level of their ability. And that to me is what Coach Pry has been able to do over his career. He's gotten people to be able to play at or above the level of their ability consistently.
And he likes to rock out to the Allman Brothers, so that might be on his playlist coming up on Saturday. Another question Coach Huff was asked. You got a Virginia guy on the staff, Jonathan Galante. Coach was asked, and again, taking on Virginia Tech, so you got some connections here between the state of West Virginia and Marshall and Virginia Tech. And Huff was asked about Jonathan Galante's meaning, what he brings, what did he mean to the special teams? What has he brought so far? And Coach Huff responded.
Yeah, I think Coach G has done a really good job. Obviously, he was with me at Alabama for 2 years, and I got a chance to watch him work in a assistant QC role, which a lot of the QCs in today's football at those levels do a lot of the work behind the scenes. So I got a chance to see him do that. And then obviously when he's been here, he's been phenomenal with the players, does a really good job scheming wise, does a really good job of breaking opponents down, puts us in advantageous positions. We've got to continue to build the depth, on our special teams. So we have a little bit more options to go to. Special teams is that one where if you could play all your starters, you're probably a lot better than, you are playing your backups, but we've got to develop the depth so that our backups can continue to play. And I think Coach G does a really good job of that with the way he practices, the drills, the emphasis he puts on fundamentals and technique. Obviously, that's a phase of the game that we're going to have to be really good in order to maximize our opportunities, both in field position and the possibility to score points.
That's Coach Huff talking about Coach G. I like it. I'm going to make sure I know all the nicknames so I can just reference them. Coach G. Hey, what do you think about Coach G this week? He'll know what I'm talking about. I'm taking notes right now. Brent Pry likes the Allman Brothers. Jonathan Galante is now Coach G. I like it. Now let's talk recruiting. That was one thing that came up during the call earlier today. And Coach was off last week. When I mean off, he wasn't made available for media. There wasn't a presser on Tuesday. He wasn't part of the Sun Belt Conference call last week. He was doing other things like preparing for Virginia Tech or recruiting. He's big on that. And one of the questions Coach was asked about was recruiting that Cincinnati-Dayton region. And Coach explained, there are going to be some schools in the Sun Belt that he's not going to win battles with in the South. But there are parts of the country where the herd, it makes a lot of sense. And he talked about that especially, and it was specifically brought up the Cincinnati-Dayton region.
Yeah, I think that's got to be big for us. There's a lot of really good football in that area. I think our brand resonates in that area. Obviously, we're not going to have the success in the deep south of some of the schools in this conference. So we've got to balance that by having the success in the North and the Midwest. And I think there is a lot of talent in that area. My time in the Big Ten and in the MAC conference has developed a lot of relationships with high school coaches and trainers and people in those areas, which has paid some dividends. We've got some really good players committed to us. We're recruiting some other really good players. I think, again, our brand makes sense. You talk about being less than 2.5 hours, a little over that from that area. So, again, you're talking about a student athlete being able to come have an unbelievable experience and to be able to keep his support system intact, right? Mom, dad, grandmother, aunt, uncle, friends, girlfriend, everybody can come see him play. He can get home, and get a home-cooked meal and get a hug when he needs to and still get back. Obviously we've got to be able to nationally recruit in order to be competitive, but it just makes it a little bit tougher, when the kid's got to get on, 2 flights to get home, or his family's got to get on 2 flights to come see him. So that area has got to be great for us. We've got to continue to do a really good job. I'm pleased with the job we're doing. Obviously it's not over until, the ink dries on the paper, but right now I think we're in a really good spot.
Coach Huff addressing the media earlier today. We'll have more of his comments tomorrow at his normal presser for the local media. Text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've been getting a lot of your texts. We're going to go over them. The text question of the day is to predict the score between Marshall and Virginia Tech. We're also adding on top of that with your score prediction. That's going to enter you into our random drawing. It is totally random. We're going to give you 2 tickets to go see Marshall take on Virginia Tech. So that's what you're up for today. You're playing for 2 tickets to go see the Herd take on Virginia Tech. Sold out game Saturday. There's only 2 or 3 ways you can be a part of it. You can win my tickets. You can listen to it right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930, or you've already got tickets. So those are pretty much the big 3 right there. We'll give you a chance, and we will get your text in when we continue on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavallette. We look forward to bringing the residents of Wayne County a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, community involvement, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com. Equal housing lender. Member NCUA.
Hey, Tri-State. Frank's Place, formerly Sinners in Saints Bar, is under new ownership. Stop on by and check out Happy Hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and other daily specials. If you're a sports fan, they have what you need coming up from the NCAA tournament, Major League Baseball to the XFL. And listen up. If you're a first responder, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Glockner's annual Ultimate Tailgate event is here, and you can make the buy of the year with special event savings and Glockner's lowest live market prices on the season's best inventory. We make it easy to shop because we never inflate our prices in hopes of winning a negotiating contest. No tricks, games, or hidden fees. Plus, get a cash offer for your trade above current market value in less than 15 minutes during the Ultimate Tailgate event.
We make it easy at Glockner.com.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the Tri-State. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Here's another Kindred Community Chatter. The Huntington Mayor's Diversity and LGBTQ Committee presents the 2023 Open to All Picnic from 1 till 4 p.m. Sunday, October 22nd at the Ritter Park Picnic Shelter. Enjoy food, music, games, vendors as our community celebrates diversity, equity, and inclusion. This year's picnic is sponsored by Kindred Communications, Southwestern District Labor Council, Huntington City Council members Bob Bailey, Pat Jones, Deron Jackson, Allie Lehman, Holly Smith Mount, and Sarah Whaling.
Attention all country music lovers. Jump on the DTC Express on Saturday, October 21st at 6:30 p.m. and head to Willow Ridge Event Center in Barboursville for Developmental Therapy Center's 7th annual All Aboard event. Enjoy live music performances from the Kelly and Julie Davis Band, and American Idol Season 20 winner and the Tri-State's own Noah Thompson.
We'll pour a glass of wine and dream aloud, talk about one day tonight.
Feast on a delicious backyard barbecue-style dinner from Buddy's Barbecue and decadent desserts from the Peach Cobbler Factory. Quench your thirst with an open bar, moonshine, and bourbon tasting. And bid on fantastic silent auction items. Play games and win prizes all night long. Limited seats are available now. Don't miss your chance to make a difference in the lives of those who have disabilities. And see Noah Thompson live.
Hey everyone, this is Noah Thompson. I want to invite you to join me at the 7th annual DTC All Aboard event. Saturday night, October 21st. Get tickets and more info at dtchuntington.org and click events. I look forward to seeing you there.
Dad! Come on! Over here! Look at this, Dad! Over! Whoa.
The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, biking, fishing, or camping. Or do your own thing when you get there with family and friends. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
It's our final segment on today's edition of The Drive, and it's going to be our best one because we're getting your text in now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255, asking you today to predict the score. Who's going to win between Marshall and Virginia Tech? Give me the score. We give you an opportunity to win 2 tickets to go see the Herd take on the Hokies. Sold out game Saturday. I've got 2 tickets, and let's go over some of the texts now. Let's start. You know what? There's some really crazy scores coming in. I think we went over 31-28 earlier. Yeah, that came in earlier. All right, here we go. Text line says Marshall 28, Virginia Tech 17. Go Herd. Another winner for the Herd there. Texter says Marshall 17, Virginia Tech 35. So a prediction for the Herd to lose this one. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Marshall 13, Virginia Tech 27. Another pick for the Herd to lose. From our text line, I think the Herd's crowd will be stomping, firing up the Herd. Should be a fun one. Be a good atmosphere. I hope it's a good atmosphere anyway. They're trying to strike the Jones, so I hope they pull that off. Okay, let's go back to the text line. Here's a pick for the Herd to win. Herd 27, Tech 17. Here's a crazy one. 100-0, let's go Herd. So 100 points will be put on the scoreboard by the Thundering Herd. Texter says, Marshall's taking the dub, 57-38, go Herd. That's going to be a long game. 57-38. Can they get enough plays in to run that score up, 57-38? We'll see with the new play clock rules, how that works. Back to our text line, 34-17, Marshall, go Herd. And we've got 24-17, Marshall. Okay. So we've got some interesting scores. You got time to get yours in. We're predicting the score today between Marshall and Virginia Tech. That is coming up on Saturday. And we've got the game. It's coming up. We'll go on the air 8 a.m., bright and early. 8 a.m. over on the Dog for all the country music. I'll actually hit the airwaves at 9. So it's going to be bright and early on Saturday. I'll see you all there on the tailgate lot. And if you're not familiar with what we do, every game day, we go on the air 3 hours for kickoff, and we will bring you West Virginia and Appalachian Laborers District Council College Football today, presented by Liuna, your workforce solution, WVLDC.org. Our brand new sponsor, so we thank them. Back to our text line. Owen Porter sacks Grant Wells twice. I hope Grant's playing. That's going to be a question. He wasn't in the last game, and we saw what happened there. Hopefully he's back in the game. Wouldn't that be something? If Wells got sacked a couple of times, if he's playing, he gets sacked, and it's Owen Porter that does it, that'd be something. What would be the best outcome for Marshall? A couple of sacks of Grant Wells. What do we want? We want to pick 6 as well? At least one. We want one pick 6. I think he's got to get sacked a few times. There's got to be good penetration, and Owen Porter's got to lead the charge. And then with all the pressure that the Herd's bringing to Grant Wells, he eventually lets it go. It goes in the wrong place. It gets picked off. It's run back for the touchdown. Who gets the pick 6? That might be another text question. But we are asking you to predict the score, and you can do so again. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 for a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see the Herd take on Virginia Tech coming up this Saturday. What if Grant Wells doesn't play? Would that be a little disappointing? Not only for Grant, but for Herd fans and for Marshall, wouldn't that be a little disappointing? Now, I don't know if there's any beef with Grant Wells. I don't think there is. Always a nice kid, always had nice things to say, good things to say about the Thundering Herd. Doesn't get on social media talking trash. He didn't. On the way out, he didn't really say anything that we consider sour grapes. So pretty much Grant Wells, likable guy. Wanted a change of venue. So goes to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's not what it used to be, but if you heard Coach Huff earlier, he thinks that they're playing like they are undefeated and marching towards the championship. So we'll see what this team looks like on Saturday. If Virginia Tech has gotten better with the loss against Rutgers, if they found a way to get better, if Grant Wells is back, and of course, how has 2 weeks off helped the Thundering Herd? That's the big question. How well has Marshall used the time in between Game 2 and Game 3? This will be the biggest game on the schedule at this moment and probably throughout the duration. I think JMU will be huge. NC State's going to be important as well. That's going to be big. But I think Virginia Tech is probably the one, if you're circling, you want that one. I want the NC State one. I want them all, but I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, wow, wouldn't it be great if Marshall could beat Virginia Tech and NC State? Wouldn't that be something? All in the same year. One at home, one on the road. Marshall goes into conference play after beating Virginia Tech. Wouldn't that be something? Undefeated, beats ODU, and then steps back out of conference for one. and then gets into conference play against, I'll tell you what, right now, the back half of this schedule is going to be tough. Absolutely going to be tough. There's some good teams here in the Sun Belt, so this thing isn't a given. But Marshall's got to do its part, and it's got to beat Virginia Tech. And we're giving you an opportunity to win tickets all this week. So if you don't win today, don't worry. We've got you covered for the rest of the week. And you can always text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And our question of the day is predict the score between Marshall and Virginia Tech. What's the score going to be? And here's what you got to work with. Marshall beat Albany 21-17. Marshall beat East Carolina 31-13. Offense is going up. Defense is keeping the other team off the board a little better. Is it going to be similar to that? Or some of you said Marshall's not going to win. Where do you fall on that? 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So here's how this works if you just tuned in late. We're going to be asking you a question all this week. We're going to give you an opportunity to win tickets to go see Marshall take on Virginia Tech. And everyone who has texted in today, you are now in the random drawing. And what we'll do after the show, if you're listening now, if you don't get a text within a few minutes, you didn't win. But you will get a text within a few minutes if you're the winner, and we will give you all the details on how you can come claim your prize. And then we'll do this again tomorrow. We'll do it again on Wednesday, and then our final day will be on Thursday. That way you'll have an opportunity to get here by close of business on Friday to pick up your ticket. So that's how this is going to work. And we're going to be doing this for every home game this year. And if this works out, we'll do this more for Marshall basketball games and other events. So that's what you need to know. If you didn't get in on it today, or if you want to try again tomorrow, we'll give you another opportunity. So that's where we're at now. And we're almost out of time. So let's go over some of these scores again. Just kind of give you an idea of what we got. We got Marshall 21, Virginia Tech 13. We got Marshall 26. Now, change that. That was Virginia Tech 26, Marshall 20. We got 28-14 Marshall. We got 34-25 Marshall. 28-17 Marshall. We got 35-17 Virginia Tech. We got 27-13 Virginia Tech. We also got 22-17 Marshall. 27-17 Marshall. 100-0 Marshall. 57-38 Marshall. Okay. I'm okay with that. 34-17 Marshall, and then 24-17 Marshall. So a lot of 17s in there. All right. We're locking in, everybody, now. Thanks for participating today. I'll be back tomorrow with another opportunity for you to win tickets. Thanks for tuning in to today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Have a great night, everyone.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington. This is your radio home for Pittsburgh Pirates baseball, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.